Backstage Stories is a project with a goal of helping to tell the stories of artists, musicians, singers, songwriters performing right down the street from you guys every single day. I hope to help tell their story, but also maybe get a couple of laughs and help you find your next favorite artist. Before we get started, my name is Keegan, and I've got to thank the Ladies of Libation for use of this background and studio where we're at this afternoon for a conversation with Billie Joe Jones. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm delighted you reached out.
I know.
We were able
I'm
to
so
make this
excited.
happen. You have had such, all year long, following you on social media. You're all over the place. But even just the last few weeks, including the end of August, which we're going to talk about, the drop of the new song. But
Yeah.
how are you holding up with? You were just in Nashville a couple of days ago. Now you're here in Houston, and you got shows in back in Dallas later this weekend. How are you maintaining you? Because you look great.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm honestly there's no secret. I don't know. It's just lack of sleep and I'm just excited and like ready for the next thing. And I think I think the adrenaline is really what's like keeping me going, because there's just been so many cool things that have happened over the past few weeks and even this past year that I never expected it to be this crazy. Like it's been a whirlwind.
It
really.
really
Yeah.
has. And are you feeling or sensing any, I don't know, I guess nervousness to keep it going? Because it's been going for a little while now for you.
It's one of those things where like people are watching everything that I'm doing and they're like, okay, well, what's next? Like they're waiting for something else. And I'm like, okay, what else can we do to make this, even cooler? Like, I don't know, like it's one of those things where I am always looking at what's coming next. Like I have a hard time of soaking it in, like in the moment,
Just
like
taking a
being in the
moment, being
moment.
there.
Yes, I have a really hard time doing that because I'm always like, okay, that was cool. Now what? Like, now what are we doing? So I have, talks with my label about that all the time of, they're like calm down and like soak in the moment. You're not going to get these moments back. Like you need to take them in. And I'm like, yeah, but like, what's next? Like, what are we going to do next? So yeah, I think there is a nervousness of like, I want people to remain, and they are like to remain engaged and see, what is she going to do next?
Yeah,
like,
right,
and I love that. I love having that.
So that prompts the next question. How far in advance are you thinking? What's in your, like, are you thinking December of next year?
Pretty much like September of next year.
Wow.
We already have some stuff lined up and we are already writing and recording for the next album.
Wow.
And because like my first album just came out, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
August.
we already started writing and recording the next album before that one even came out. So,
wow.
We're definitely we're planning ahead. We are.
So let's talk about the success of Some Girls Don't Cry. Not only the album that is out, and by the way, guys, she has a limited edition vinyl going to be available in October of 2024. So make sure you stop by her website and snag one of those. I'm actually a big fan of vinyl records. I don't know why. My collection is growing. But talk a little bit about, that success, because that's part of all this excitement for you. I mean, just relatively quickly.
Yes. So the first song we released on that album was Right Now Kind of Girl. It was actually my first song back to radio in about 3 years. I took a little break from releasing music to radio, and we came back with that song. And it hit number one on CDX True Indie. It was number one on, the Texas Internet Radio chart, and then Texas Regional Radio chart.
The list goes on.
The list goes on.
Yeah.
And so it did amazing. And then whenever that song was done, we had another song come out right after it, which was the title track of the album. It's Some Girls Don't Cry. And it took off like crazy. It actually went way faster than my other song has. And right now I'm sitting at number 3 on Texas Regional Radio. And then they retired my song on CDX True Indie because I was number 1 4 weeks in a row.
That's enough out of you. We're going to take a time out.
But it's cool. Like that was so cool. Like I was not expecting that. And even after they retired me, we looked and I still had the highest number of spins over the person that was sitting in number 1 that's there. And it's just, I don't know. It's been cool. It's been a wild ride. Yeah. I haven't experienced anything like it. So it's been a learning process, but it's been a really, really fun ride so far.
Talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
What have you learned?
I've learned so much because I didn't really realize kind of a little bit behind the scenes of what goes on with, what goes on with a song. I released songs to radio before, but not like this, and not with a label behind me that helped do that, because
Boosting everything.
we've also pushed it to Texas radio, but I have radio promoters in Nashville, and so all of that's kind of like figuring out how all that goes, like they work together, in a way. They don't, but they do, and it's been cool to watch kind of behind the scenes of different radio people. I'll go in for a radio interview and they're like, oh yeah, so and so, and then oh yeah, they named my other radio promoter that I didn't think they knew anything about, and I'm like, okay, so it all kind of goes hand in hand, but it really is crazy, the process of what it takes to release a song, and then going and doing the radio interviews. Like that's a big thing for me, and I love people. I love meeting people. I love doing the radio interviews.
You've always been fun.
Even though it's been, that's a lot of driving, a lot of miles on a car, or flying sometimes, because I've been all over the world this year. But it's worth it. So like if I could give advice, you didn't ask me this, but if I could give advice to any artist.
This was one of my questions
sorry about that.
It's that mentor question, because you are reaching that point. You've been doing this for quite some time now, even though this is technically your first album, but it's really kind of not for those of us who know you. What advice are you giving to your other artists, or are you entering into that mentorship role?
Oh yeah, I have. And I mean, the biggest thing for me is, if you're wanting to do this, you've got to pour your whole heart and soul into it, and really want it. Because if you don't, it's not going to work out.
Right.
Because there's going to be a lot of low moments in your life, and you're going to have to just push through it. But do the radio interviews, do the work, go out and meet the people that are actually playing your songs, because they do care. And they really, really do love it even more when you go and meet with them.
Shake a hand
and
have a
and even if you don't see them till the next year, or till the next song that goes out to radio, like it's still something that you should take into consideration, I think.
Well, on this side of it, it's fun to watch you as you evolve, and to help, for me at least, to help tell the story and be a part of, sort of a part of all of that, and helping elevate you, helping people find you.
Yes.
Which is kind of what I wanted to talk about next, was how are you finding new fans? With all these different, radio promoters and a label behind you, are they helping with that?
Yes. So I really honestly think that this year and this past year, there's been so many people that are like, I'd never heard of you before. Like, didn't have any idea who you were, and you just came up on the radio. Like, the radio stations are playing my songs, or I'll go in and do an interview, and people will hear me on the radio. And so that's how people have found me is through the radio and people playing my music. And
that's interesting. Okay.
And we've been trying to book shows around some of the radio stops that we're doing, so that's been really helpful. It doesn't always work out, because a lot of radio stops are just super fast. Like, you're just in and out, in and out, in and out. So. But we try to make it work. But yeah, people have been finding me from all over, and I think the label and my radio promoters have really helped.
What's been the most surprising thing just this year?
Getting to play or getting to sing at the Grand Ole Opry with Lee Greenwood.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
That's still very much.
That's still
top
very
of the
much
list.
Yes. And I wasn't in this. I didn't stand in the circle. Like, it wasn't my debut. Nothing like that. But it was still.
You were still on that stage.
I was still on that stage, and I always knew, because I've dreamed of being on that stage since I was a little girl with my grandparents, and just being on that stage was like, yes, like this is where I belong. Like, I need to come back here and do this. Like, this was home. It felt like home to me, so I absolutely loved it.
I wanted to talk. I was looking things up and making sure I had all my questions right, and I happened to go to Apple Music, that has all your different albums and singles listed out, and I noticed something, and I was curious if how much of this is an active decision, but there is a progression just on the cover photos. Just on those alone, there is a progression from when you started and those first couple of shots to the woman that is sitting here next to me now. How much of that is just really something you're always keeping your mind on?
I honestly, when I first started doing this, it wasn't. I didn't focus on that part of it enough. Okay. I don't think. Okay. Your brand is very, very, very important, and I honestly did not learn that until later. I didn't really learn that until the past 2 or 3 years. And so I think when I finally got a hold of that, oh, okay, if this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to look like, this is who I'm going to be. You have to stick with it. Like if I'm going to wear the cowgirl hat, I'm going to wear the cowgirl hat for like everything, unless it's just extremely too hot and I'm just over it. And you will see me like throw it off the stage and put a cap on. Like it's one of those things. So, but your brand is really important. And I mean, I knew it was important, but it wasn't that important to me back then. And now, getting to work with a label and people that really know what they're doing, we've really focused on my brand the past 2 years.
In this whole, focus on your brand and the image and all of this, how much clashing is going on between what they're suggesting and you as a person?
It really, honestly, wasn't very much clashing. And it's not like they said, well, you need to do this, or
I don't know.
Or you need to lose this weight, or you need to gain this weight, or whatever. It was never really like that. They had ideas, and they took what I already was trying to be, I guess, and have kind of helped me like spice it up a little bit. And they've put me with a couple of stylists in Nashville, and one of them in Dallas, and so they've really helped with wardrobe. And I have a hat sponsor. Shout out to American Hat. Yeah. I've loved them for forever, and I was holding out because I wanted American hats so bad, because that's all I wear. But yeah, it's one of those things that like I could see like where they were going with it, and they didn't really ever have to say it, but I dropped like 30 pounds in like 6 or 7 months, or 7 or 8 months, really, like last year.
Good for you.
But I worked really hard at that, and I've continued to work really hard at that. So, but it's one of the things like I could tell, I didn't really notice it until I did do that, and then I went back and looked and was like, oh, this is what I look like, and then this is what I look like now, and I feel better. Okay. And I feel like if I feel better, I'm more confident in my performing and playing with a band or playing shows or whatever. So yeah, love it.
When you take a look at the past to now, like what are your feelings about what you're doing and that evolution?
Yeah, I'm super proud. Okay. I'm so proud of where I've been, where I've came from, and to see everything that I've been doing up until this point has been a dream come true. So
speaking of everywhere that you've been, I mean, just like we talked a little bit before. Honestly, I lost my train of thought in the middle of that. Did that ever happen to you?
Yes, all the time.
Okay. I had a good question.
No, I'll be answering a question, and then I'll get like sidetracked, and I go off, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this was the question, and then I'll have to like come back to it. It's a really bad habit, honestly.
I was going to ask, with all the traveling and everywhere you've been, how much time are you able to stay home? Because I know you've got little ones.
I do, not very much. Yeah. It's been a little crazy. Rough? Not really. Like they're older. Or, I mean, they're not old, but like they're older. Yeah, I mean, my oldest just turned 14.
I didn't okay, so that's how long you and I have been doing this.
Yes. Okay. So my oldest just turned 14, and so they just usually I'm gone on the weekends, and I'm doing my shows, and they have their friends, and they're going to football games, and they kind of they're doing their own thing. And even if I was home, I probably wouldn't see them because they're at the age that they're going and doing their own thing. But now, since I've grown and my booking, and I'm more particular on booking and stuff. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to go do it. Unfortunately, like I can't do it all like
you can't be everywhere all the time. Yeah.
So I've learned to say no this year, which has been really hard because there's a few venues that I really, really love.
Well, but that's a huge thing to get to that point in your career where you're turning down shows. Mm-hmm.
I will pass them off to my friends though. Like I do. I'm like, oh, here, I can't do this, but here, check out so and so and so and so, and I'll give them their contact information. So I try to help everyone as much as I can, but I've had to say no this year, and I do feel good about it because I do have to take that time to be at home, whenever I can. Yeah. But now it's going to be where we're about to be making it to where I'm in Nashville, a few days a week, every other week or so, and then back in Texas, and then I don't have to necessarily, because I used to, I still do. I still need the income. I'm not saying we're definitely not where we should be financially, so please give me all the gigs. But that's not what I'm saying. I just was meaning like I am going to be doing some different stuff that I can't really talk about just yet in Nashville, and so I'm going to be taking less shows,
Sure, that
unless
makes
they're
sense,
really
yeah.
good paying shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll still take all those, but yeah, and I have to even out my time with, with family.
You got to balance everything.
And I do really, really well with it. And I have an amazing support system. Jessica has watched my kids and lived with me for 8 years. And so she's there and she's like the other mom and she handles it. Like I don't have to, if I'm in Nashville, I don't have to be like, hey, did you do so-and-so? Like she's already done it. Like she hasn't handled. So super blessed. So
that's super neat.
Yeah.
And really exciting to hear from when you started to come see me on that other project and just getting to know you. And over the years, we've hung out. I've met Justin and Dolly and all these,
good Lord, Dolly.
We have that
Dolly
story, which we have to talk about here in a little bit. But
oh gosh,
that's huge that you've reached. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
It's been great. It's been a really great year.
Speaking of your friends, I got to talk about and bring up your buddy, your cohort in crime out of Oklahoma, Bailey Ray. Are you guys causing trouble? When was the last time you saw her?
I mean, pretty much. Honestly, I haven't seen her in. What is this? We are in September, so it's probably been 3 months or so.
Yeah.
She has been all over the place, and I think she just got back from France, or something, something like that.
Right, yeah.
But I'll randomly send her a message like, hey, are you still alive? Like, I miss you, whatever. And then she'll, send me a message. She actually just called me on the phone like 2 days ago, so that's funny that you said that. But and it was only to pick on me. It wasn't even really to have a conversation. She was picking on me about something. So. But yeah, so we still stay in contact, obviously, but we can just pick up where we leave off. But she knows that I'm busy and she's busy. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And because we're both out doing the same thing, kind of in our own ways. So, but it's great to have friends like her. So
absolutely.
And she's a hot mess. We both are when we're together. So it's probably for the best that we're not together all the time.
That's safe for the world.
Yes, it is. The world is a much safer place.
Okay, so let's talk about the story. It's kind of kismet that you happen to reach out this time of year, and this will come out and be released closer to October, spooky season, as it were.
Okay.
The last time I saw you, we had on the video footage, an orb going in front of you and behind you. I sent it to you via text message. What was your reaction? Because you were somewhere. And I'm just texting you this stuff, but what was your thoughts behind all of that?
Oh, I definitely freaked out.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, no, it's not. And then I rewatched it. And then Dolly was she was all over it. Like, I think she knew it. Like, I don't know, because she was being crazy.
Even in the video? Like when you were playing it back, or you mean the day of?
Yeah, the day of. Yeah, she was just, I don't know, she was crazy. But yeah,
just all of a sudden too.
Yeah. And I played it back and I was like, man, that's so weird. Like it was very weird. But now that's never happened to me before, by the way, ever.
It never happened again.
But after you, so thanks to you.
I love this.
That thing, I don't know really, but I have I need to send it to you. I have a video of my house in my living room. I was asleep. I woke up because I heard like a cabinet door slam.
Yeah.
And so I got on the camera because I'm a baby and I don't want to get up and go look around the house. So I get on my camera to see if I just thought maybe a kid got into the they were eating cereal, whatever. Yeah. And I look and there's nothing, so I played it back. No one is up for hours. No one's up. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. And when I started playing the camera back, you can hear the cabinet slam on the camera, and then you see this orb go by the camera. I have really just, and I've watched it several times. It's weird. It is so weird. But I will say, this is so awkward. I don't even know where we're talking about this. My brother moved houses like a year and a half ago, maybe. So I have my dad's ashes in the room, in my little music room. That's where he's there with all my trophies and stuff. And that's where this little orb thingy was back in that room. And so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I really believe in that stuff.
Okay,
I don't know.
That's what my next question was.
I'm not really sure, but I am now just like, it's just weird. It's just kind of been weird. But I have a video of that, and I showed the kids. Of course, I shouldn't have done that, and they all freaked out for a little bit, but they got over it.
How old is the home that you live in now?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
It's not like
older
old. It's not old.
Okay,
It's
okay.
probably, I don't know, it might be 20
Okay, that's not
years,
old at all.
15,
Okay.
20
Yeah,
years.
well,
It's
you
not that
never
old.
know.
Yeah, we're in a rent house on a ranch
Okay.
thing. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah,
But
it's
that
weird.
hasn't pushed you to the level of I believe in ghosts and stuff like
I
that.
don't know. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Not yet. Now something else will probably happen that's like even creepier. But
I
I
didn't
don't
want to bring
know.
this up yet, but we think there's a ghost here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was so good to see you. I'm gonna go try to find my car.
This is exactly what happened last time. She was like, "Oh my, I have to go. I have to go.
I have to leave. I gotta leave. I gotta get out of here. We gotta go. There's something following me. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Speaking to change the subject completely
Yes.
off the spiritual world. Christmas right around the corner.
Gosh.
Are you? I mean, typically August is recording studio time for Christmas songs. Did you do any of that? Are people going to be expecting any of that this year?
They mentioned it, and we never did it. So I'm assuming it's probably too late for that because it's already middle of September. I don't know what day it is. Whatever it is.
September
September something. And so we haven't. So I don't think so, unless they just he just mentioned it again like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So maybe, but I don't think so.
If you could do one, what would you do?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
That's tough. That's a tough one because I love I'll Be Home for Christmas. It's probably one of my favorites.
You're never there. Yeah.
I know. I'm never there. Or
kind of ironic to do.
Oh my gosh, I just went blank on the Christmas song. Is that what it is? That chest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that song too. So yeah, I don't know. Or just write one. We've been writing a lot of songs, so maybe we could just write one.
Well, you got a whole
probably
other
write
album
one for
coming next
so,
year. Yeah.
They definitely want to do a whole Christmas album.
Oh, do they really?
And he's even talked about doing like a whole gospel album at some point too.
Wow.
And I have a gospel album when I was like 18,
right?
But that's been forever. So
that's go take a peek. Find her on iTunes, Spotify, all those good places. Find her across social media. Billie Joe Jones, been my guest for Backstage Stories in this episode number 2. Be sure you share this to help tell her story. This is all about the artists that stop by, and click that subscribe button and find us on social media as well for updates and exclusive music videos. She's fixing to perform for you guys. So hang out or find the next video. Song's coming soon. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, just go give me a follow, download my music, come see a live show.
Oh, she's a lot of fun live. If I haven't mentioned that, she's
oh my
a lot
gosh,
of
you
fun
got to come
live.
to a full band show.
Yeah.
It is so much fun.
Too good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.